is I want to expand a little bit on a conversation that I have had about James Franklin and John Cooper and Ryan Day. So James Franklin is more in common with John Cooper than Ryan Day does. But if you are an Ohio State fan, you already know this history, and I apologize. If you're not an Ohio State fan, it's important that you know who John Cooper is when they use his name like a slur. So the Nittany Lions in the James Franklin era are 0-5 against the Buckeyes and Wolverines since 2022. He's 1-13 against top 5 opponents. But the Nittany Lions are also 18-0 against all other Big Ten opponents. So they're 0-5 against Ohio State and Michigan, or the teams that have won the Big Ten championship most years in the college football playoff era. He's 1-10 against Ohio State, and Ryan Day is 6-0 against him. So John Cooper arrives at Ohio State and promptly records the first losing season that the Buckeyes had since the 1960s, 22 years in 1988. Then he went to work. 13 years at Ohio State, John Cooper won a share of the Big Ten title 3 times, 1993, 1996, 1998. He finished with a record of 111, 43, and 4. That makes him the second winningest coach in Ohio State history. That's behind Woody Hayes, who's got 205. And you would think, that would matter. You would think that beating Notre Dame in back-to-back seasons, 95, 96, would matter. He also led Ohio State to its first Rose Bowl bid in 13 years and won that game against Arizona State in 1997. You think that would matter. He beat A&M in 1999, the Sugar Bowl. You think that would matter. And he recruited and developed some of the best players of all time, to say nothing of the best players in Ohio State history. We're talking about Heisman winner Eddie George. We're talking about Biletnikoff Award winner Terry Glenn. We're talking about Outland Award winner and Heisman finalist Orlando Pace. We're talking about Buckeyes Award winner Andy Katzenmoyer. We're talking about Thorpe Award winner Antoine Winfield, whose kid Antoine Winfield Jr. is out still making plays. And since we're here, y'all must have forgot that he also literally brought Alonzo Spellman, Straight Flush and Ahmad Plummer, Mike Vrabel, David Boston, Corey Stringer, and Joey Galloway to the shoe. So why do Ohio State fans hate John Cooper, who's done all this for him? He's 2-10-1 against Michigan. That's why. As the number 5 team in the country in 1995, Ohio State lost to an unranked Michigan, and a win would have got them to their first Rose Bowl in 9 years. And then as the number 2 team in the country, and already assured a bid to the Rose Bowl in 1996, they lost the game in Columbus to a number 21 Michigan. And then Cooper became the first coach to win a Big Ten title and a Rose Bowl at a Pac-10 and Big Ten school at the end of that year. And Ohio State fans say, what that got to do with us? We don't care about none of that. We don't care about what you did at Arizona State. We don't care about what you did at Tulsa. We care about what you're doing for us, and it ain't beating that team up north. 97, Charles Woodson made plays in all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams, and Michigan famously beats Ohio State 20-14 en route to winning the 1997 national championship. That wasn't enough to fire John Cooper. 1998, Ohio State's ranked number 1 in the country, and then they're upset by Michigan State after starting the season 8-0. They beat Michigan, though, which is great for him. And then a win against A&M in that Sugar Bowl I mentioned, make them the number 2 team in the country. But in 1999, they finished 6-6, Ohio State's 3rd non-winning season since 1947. It's a program that has built a machine on winning, but it was Cooper's 3rd. And an 8-4 year the next year just led, and a loss to Michigan, by the way. It was like, all right, we're going to show this future college football Hall of Famer the door, because that's what it means. I think that is where James Franklin is now for Penn State. Penn State fans have had enough. They don't care about winning 9 or 10 games every year if you're going to lose to Ohio State and Michigan every year. They don't care. I don't know who you would go get. I don't even know that that's a move that is going to get made. I am saying that if you feel anguish as a Penn State fan, I understand. I really do. It reminds me a lot of what Oklahoma was going through after winning Big 12 championships, getting to the college football playoff, and routinely getting our heads kicked in. However, nobody at Oklahoma was ready to leave Lincoln Riley, but Lincoln Riley was apparently ready to leave Oklahoma. And so he has. And now he's at USC, where USC is 4-5 and Oklahoma is 5-4, and Oklahoma feels better about their guy than I think most USC fans do right now, even as both of them have changed up their starting quarterback at least once this year, with Lincoln Riley choosing to go to Jaden Mayava against Nebraska. But that's more about trying not to be new Nebraska, while Oklahoma's trying not to be new Nebraska in the SEC. All to say that if you're a Penn State fan, the thing you're going to hold on to is you can finish the season 11-1 and make the college football playoff. And then maybe you get a win, depending on where your seeding is. But if that team you got to play has a 5 or better on their scorecard, you might fold, because that's what James Franklin's teams have done against top 5 teams. Maybe that's the glass half full here, is that you get to the college football playoff and then you overcome that moniker of not being able to win the big game. And mid-game James gets to become big game James, because a lot can change. Get into the college football playoff and you start winning football games. I'm just not sure that is where we're going to end up with them. All right. That is going to do it for tonight's live episode of the number 1 college football show, where we are recapping the college football playoff selection committee's initial rankings. We'll see y'all on Saturday after we find out just who is still in this thing: Ole Miss, Georgia, LSU, Alabama, and who is not. And we'll go from there. All right. That's going to do it for me. Doses.